Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Tuesday. It's your girl RenaeThaDiva here where Let's Talk About It, a weekly podcast where we come and we talk about everything going on in our communities, around the nation, sports, and some entertainment. So let's get to it, shall we? Let's share. So let me first of all thank our sponsors. Thank you to everyone who has participated, who has emailed, who has called, who has wanted to get on board with the sponsorship opportunities that we have available. We encourage you, if you would like to sponsor this show or any of our guests, please do so. You can email us at legacyentstudios@gmail.com. Let's talk about also thank you to Mr. Kenneth Brown of SEDM. Thank you to Mr. Dwayne Abernathy of Yizer Media. And thank you to my brother, Gregory Merriweather, and also my brother, Con Mori of VUGPS. So thank you guys for all just pouring into what we do here. Let's talk about it and Legacy Entertainment Studios. So let's get to some things, right? We are actually praying for those affected by the wildfire fires called the Franklin fires. There in Malibu, California. As of earlier today, when I was researching some more just to make sure I had the most updated stats, there were over 2,000 acres burned there in the Malibu, California area. So again, praying. So far, they are not reporting any loss of life. So we are just grateful for that and just praying that everyone gets out safely. Representative Marjorie Greene of Georgia says that she's safe after a bomb threat that happened there on Monday. Greene has been named to be a part of the President-elect Trump's new cabinet. So not quite sure why there was a bomb threat. They haven't released a whole lot of details on that, but we just say again, violence is just not the answer. These people are being elected by our president-elect, whether we like it or not, and deserve to be safe and live free. So I'll say that. There was an arrest made this morning, as a matter of fact, in Pennsylvania regarding the murder of United Healthcare's CEO this past week. He was actually walking down the street to head to a conference that he was having for United Healthcare, and the alleged gunman, who has now been named Luigi Mangaloni, shot him in the back several times. So he had his first court appearance this morning where he has now pled not guilty to the murder of the UHC CEO. So being an insurance agent and being in the insurance industry, definitely affects us. So we definitely send prayers out to his family and what have you. I will talk just a little bit more about some entertainment things. And then we have a special guest with us tonight. We do have Mr. Stacy Huff of Huff Nation Sports. So we're going to bring him on. We're going to powwow. He's going to talk about some sports and some other things. He's been on before, but he's a very interesting guest. I think you guys enjoy him, so we definitely will bring him on here shortly. Let me just say that there has been some backlash in the fashion industry regarding Blue Ivy and what she wore to the screening of Mufasa. As a former model, as someone that still has close ties to the fashion industry, I say quit reaching people. She's 12. Let the baby be. She was not indecently exposed. She did not show all of her body parts. She was in a very elegant and classy gown for the screening. Also in attendance were, of course, her parents, Beyonce and Jay-Z, and her grandmother, Miss Tina Knowles, which were dressed in similar attire, of course, but for the grown level. So again, I'll just say, please leave the baby alone. She's 12 years old. Let her live her life. Let her get out of her shadow of her parents. Let her be creative. Again, she was dressed very classy, in my opinion. Stop the hate, ladies. We hate on each other way too much. That's a whole nother show. Lastly, I want to say thank you again for liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel and to all social media. If you are not doing so, please do. It is Renee, RenaeThaDiva, on all social media, as well as Legacy Entertainment Studios. So I'm going to go ahead now and say thank you again to our sponsors. We will show those here shortly, but I'm going to go ahead and bring Mr. Stacy Huff onto the stage. Hey, Stacy, how are you?
What's going on? How you doing? A couple things. First of all, I apologize for not being in my normal I have a studio upstairs. I do have my backdrop and my Huff Nation Sports. My daughter's sleeping upstairs. She has some work she's doing. She's sleeping, so I want to give her some peace right now. But a
Yes.
couple of things. First of all, thanks for having me, Renee. It's a great show. The Diva is doing great. Thanks for all the
Thank you.
y'all support this lady. She's doing big things, upward and onward as we go. So y'all stay with her on this ride. Prayers to the folks dealing with the fire, and y'all get off Blue Ivy's back now.
Yes.
Yes, please leave that child alone. So you want me? If I can, you want me to take off? I got some things to share.
Go for it. I'm with it. Look, I even have a
Okay, let's go. A couple things off the dome that I want to touch on, and then we could go into some further conversations. We know we're at a time when the college playoff selections just were made. And it's a flawed system. No system is going to be perfect. I'm an alum of the University of South Carolina. They're one of the teams left out at 9-3, the hottest team in the nation, won 6 in a row, beat Clemson at Clemson. Alabama had a claim to want to be in. Ole Miss had a claim to want to be in. Miami and other teams were all in that conversation. And it's a flawed system. But I've always said this, and I said when they went to this, when they went to 4 teams, I said the 5th team is going to be mad. When they went to 12 teams, the 13th and 14th teams are going to be mad. If they go to 100 teams, the 101st team is going to be mad. So no one's going to ever be happy. But I know my alma mater, I think, was done a little dirty deed. I think they were the hottest team. Nobody in that so-called top 12 wants to see them. They've beaten at least one of them, if not a couple, and they will be favored against most of them. But that said, I think you're going to look at Texas, Oregon, and Georgia, 3 of the teams you're going to see favorite to come out of that thing. But the thing about playoffs is a free-for-all, one game. Right, one shot, one kill, and so anything can happen. Everybody gets a fair shot at it. People aren't happy with the teams that got buys, like Boise State, Arizona State. But on it, like I said, any given Sunday in NFL, any given Saturday, any given game on that level, anything can happen. Turnovers, injuries can affect it. So those 12 have a right to play at this point, according to the committee, that right to play for the national championship. I still would take my Gamecocks over any of them. There's not a team in that top 12, I don't think I wouldn't feel good about us beating. And I think Alabama feels the same way, but yeah, they're home. That said, that's college football. There'll be more NIL deals are happening right now. The portal is going to be a conversation. Those are the things trending right now in college football. Now, staying on football, Renee, National Football League. I'm a Cowboys fan. You saw what happened with them last night. But the teams that are noteworthy, the teams that are really playing and not tanking and handling their business, the Detroit Lions are a lot of people's favorite right now. They and the Chiefs both have 1 loss. The Chiefs have had a lot of tough games, and the conflicting the Eagles on a hot streak, but they have inner dissension on their team has come to light between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, his leading receiver. They're not sitting horses, the old folks used to say. They have some contention in that locker room, and I don't trust the Eagles. But the Lions, to me, right now, are the odds-on favorite, in my opinion, right now, to walk away with the World Championship, the Super Bowl title. I'm a Chiefs. I like the Chiefs. I'm a Holmes fan. They played a lot of close games. Here's the things with the Chiefs. They're 2-time defending champions. Nobody's won 3 in a row, ever. Never been done. Not that it can't be done now, but it's never been done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl is 1 year older than me. It'll be 60 soon. I'm a few years away. So if it's not happened yet, there's a reason for that. It's hard to do, the three-peat. That said, the conflicting theories on the Chiefs is, A, they played a lot of close games. They've been lucky. They got some breaks, and they barely won. They're bound to the bottom may drop out, and they may drop a game or 2. But if they keep playing this way, I have a conflicting theory. What if they get it all together? Because they've lost 2 leading receivers this year already.
Right.
What if they get it all together and these close games become blowouts? They still have Patrick Mahomes. They have Kelsey. They have a strong running game. They have a pretty, turnover savvy defense that they can get them the ball on short fields. They always seem to get Mahomes the ball with that one possession to win it. That's not a coincidence. That defense is opportunistic. So what if the contrary to the theory of them barely winning, they may break. What if they put it together and those 3-point wins become 14-point wins?
Right.
Still, the Chiefs are dangerous. So I still would have the Chiefs and Detroit. Chiefs out of the AFC, Detroit out of the NFC. You want to talk NBA? We can. Your Pacers aren't doing a lot right now. They're 10 and 15. I'm not sure what's going on. That team, after last year, you think they'd be better right now?
We
jump
can
in, jump in, jump in, jump in, jump in.
We can go there. We can go there
because your thoughts.
I'm always going to support my home team, so I'm down for the Indiana Pacers and of course the Indianapolis Colts. Regardless, right now both of my teams are just not doing what they need to be doing. Point blank. Period. There's been, as you were kind of saying, a lot of changes, a lot of coaching changes, a lot of play changes, a lot of player changes with the Colts in particular.
Yeah.
And I think, I think Kansas City is going to do a three-peat. I honestly believe they will.
Okay.
I agree with you. I think that they're going to come back and prove everybody wrong. But then some parts of me say that they've gotten way too comfortable, and that's why they have these close games right now.
Yeah, and you know what? And they seem to be. It's almost, if you play sports, you coach sports, or you watch like us watch sports a long time, and they can be their trends and patterns. But sometimes, if you're an athlete, you become so confident in the fact that you can flip the switch. That you first quarter, second quarter, some things are left on the table. They leave a little meat on the bones, and a hungry team doesn't do that. So maybe that's the hunger. That's why it's hard to win three. Right. The killer instinct to go out and mash people. The Chiefs have enough talent to really have comfortable leads in some of these games. Not all of them. I mean, but there's no reason, and paper doesn't play, but no reason on paper they should play the Panthers to a close game like that. Exactly. A lot of things happened in that first half to set up the dramatic finish at the end. They needed that to beat the Panthers, which, that's two opposite ends of the spectrum. The Panthers are a team that was widely considered the worst team in the league most of the year. I think right now I'd say the Giants are. The Panthers have played better lately, but I'm a Giants hater, by the way. For those listening, if you're a Giants fan, I don't like.
I'm Giants fans.
Don't
hate mail. We don't care.
No. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, sorry, not sorry. But so the Chiefs have a chance to really maximize the talent. Like I said, there's been some injuries, there's been some things. A lot of teams, Detroit has had injuries. You look at teams, you look at teams that are like the Ravens, who are streaky. On paper, once again, on paper, if they put the talent they have and put it together, the Ravens are a team that can win a Super Bowl. There are a couple other teams out there that, like I said, the Eagles, if they get their ascension together, they can win a Super Bowl. People are still waiting on, the Buffalo Bills to play well around, their quarterback and put it together. You never know. There are teams out there that can make a run, and really it's not about how you end the season or even how you enter the playoffs. It's how you in like a lamb, out like a lion, as it's been said. Right. Get in and catch fire and put it all together. So NFL, especially more than any other sport, is so much about attrition. There's some teams who have people missing. I think the Lions will get some players back. I think there'll be some people picked up that can help teams. That DeAndre Hopkins is helping the Chiefs. He was let go, picked up. South Carolina guy right here, played right upstate South Carolina. So you never know. Something could happen that could spark one of these teams on the fringe. Like the Bills, for instance. One other thing I'll say, speaking of South Carolina, Dawn Staley, my homegirl right here. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. As I put on social media, what TCU got the other night by 40, and they could have beat them by 50. To be real, keep it real funky with you. They could have beat them by 50. What you're about to see the Gamecocks do, women's basketball, you could thank UCLA for that. So that UCLA loss, the saying is woke up a sleeping giant or poked the bear, however you want to phrase it. Everybody has Dawn Staley and her team's attention now. And they've laid waste to some good teams. Duke's a pretty good team. They went to Duke and handled them. They didn't get away at the end a little bit, but they were up by 20 most of that game. Right. TCU was number 9 in the nation, and they beat them by, again, a 40-piece. And again, I think Dawn played at her bench. I mean, there's no fall off the bench. The bench can start for most people, but she played a lot of freshmen and sophomores in the third and fourth quarter, and they still won by 40. So beware of the Gamecocks, folks. And whatever thrashings you see coming, so belt to booty going on. UCLA brought this, unleashed this havoc that's about to be unleashed on everyone. So that's I want to touch on that for sure. What other questions? What questions do you have for me? I want to wherever you want to take it.
I'll just say with Dawn, I applaud her for her playing when she played and her coaching now. Yeah. I think the WNBA is going several different places, and I am hoping that they will not put all the sanctions on that I think may be coming.
As far as the WNBA.
Yes, yes.
Well, one thing is that a positive note is they adding teams. There's a lot of good players that play. We see them in college basketball, and they grow the game. The league only had 12 teams or something like that.
Right.
They got to grow that. So they've added the Valkyries. Just had the expansion draft. They added another team that they had a team in the that's the Bay Area. They added another team. I can't remember where. They had another team somewhere else. I think they're gonna add 3 teams over the next couple of years. Right. That's gonna help. That's gonna help the league. They need a better TV deal.
Yes,
and that's above my pay grade. But they need a better TV deal and more exposure. And they're still a money loss league right now.
Right.
Right. Individual players are doing well, but the salaries will go up only when the TV deal gets better. And the reason, think about it. And I hadn't touched on baseball yet, but I'll get to that in a minute. If you got the numbers are, and if you're close to my age, you know what pinball machine numbers mean. These young kids, you call it video game numbers, but it's because of the TV contract. And that's another story. I could do another show. That's why boycotting when the quarterback we didn't want was blackballed from the league, and we want. That's why turning your TV off didn't work, because the TV money has been in the bank a long time ago.
That's it.
So you turn your TV off, you're just missing the game. That's all that really did. Right. The money's already in the bank. That's another kind. I've lectured and preached and did serve shows about it. You got to boycott the sponsors, folks. Next time you're mad about something, boycott the sponsors, not turn the TV off. Don't buy the products that's advertised. So I'm saying that to say Major League Baseball, and certain communities don't care, some do. We just got our first $700 million contract.
Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm. And that's because of TV. It's because of TV. Juan Soto, I'm a Yankees fan, so we lost my Yankees lost a guy. He got on the subway, and he's going to be a Met now. For 15 years, 718 or some crazy.
It's astronomical.
And that's because if they spent that on him, they got it, right? The owners got it. Why do they have it? Collective bargaining, and they share their TV revenue. And that's why me and you turn our TV off, it's not a blip on the radar, because the networks, TNT, TBS, ABC, ESPN, they control the salaries, right? Yeah. So it's not it's big. It's way out the gate.
It's big money for sure.
Astronomical.
I just really hope that they try to put it back in the communities. And you're spot on with that. We actually had some of the highest attendance numbers here in Indiana for the WNBA.
Of course.
Miss Caitlin Clark. There was a point when I had season tickets to the NBA games, just trying to support, and that was a big push here, for even our news teams or our sports stations to try to get people to get season tickets or to get a ticket to a game or two, to even increase the revenue so that the TV networks would pick games up. But, I agree and definitely understand that, it's still a growth process.
Right. And another thing I'll say is while we're kind of on that track, again, I've been doing this sports thing for 20-something years, and I'm excited about the games, but when you get old and grizzled and veteran in this thing, you start looking around other than on the field. So over the last 10 years of my broadcast career, I've dedicated a certain amount of my time to studying the business and marketing of the sports and off the court. And as a historian, especially of baseball, and I can go back to the 1920s with baseball. That's not to brag. I'm just telling you, it's a sport that's worth studying, folks. The history, even before Satchel Paige and those guys merged and Jackie Robinson, all that. It's very interesting how this sport became what it is in our culture. I'm saying this to say the reason Major League Baseball is out in front of the money is because they're out in front of the union. They have the strongest players union. NFL has a very weak players union. The WNBA needs to work on their players union as well.
Yes, I agree 120%, because the NFL's players union right now is just definitely going through some stuff, as we've seen for the last, I'll say, even 10 years.
So let me tell you. So while I mentioned being a historian, I don't want to say that without some context. Let me back that up for a minute. Mm-hmm. Major League Baseball and the National Basketball Association have people really carried across. They had people carried the cross. There are people who sacrificed to get to where they are. There's an African American gentleman by the name of Curt Flood. Google him if you will. Curt Flood spent a lot of the prime of his career fighting his case to the Supreme Court to help baseball further their cause to look out for their players. African American player. Curt Flood, great player. He sacrificed the bulk of his career fighting a case to the Supreme Court. He carried the cross for them. Spencer Haywood in National Basketball Association was the first guy to come out of college early, and he had to fight to the Supreme Court to open up the windows and doors for the Jays and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars and that. The NFL has never had anybody do that. And that's why we're here. That's why they're the most violent sport with the least guaranteed money. And the top heavy, we see the quarterback salaries, but the guys on the special team, they're not making the money is so disparity is crazy. Right. And those guys, if you're not a star, you got a 3-year career. But it's because nobody has carried that cross. Baseball had a guy, NBA had a guy, and both of them were African Americans, by the way.
And I honestly thought that some things were going to happen when we had the whole Kaepernick protesting situation and blackballing of him in the NFL. And
that's what I was speaking of earlier. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So it someone needs to step up. You're definitely right.
But
real quick before we go further, let me just go ahead and say this. This is Let's Talk About It, a weekly podcast with myself, host RenaeThaDiva. We do have with us tonight special guest Mr. Stacey Huff. We are currently talking about some sports and some things going on in all the sports nation. So please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're liking, sharing, following on all social media, Facebook, YouTube. And Stacey, I'm going to ask you to give me your information just once more so I can go ahead and post that too for everyone.
As far as my show is Huff Nation Sports Zone. Radio show is broadcast out of Columbia, South Carolina. But for those who are national audience, it's also streamed online at www.makethepointradio.com every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. It's a 1-hour weekly show right now. And I'm on social media, on Twitter X at Huffster Sports, HUFFSTER. I'm on Facebook under that same name you see right there on your screen. And again, I'm not YouTube. I haven't done the YouTube. I haven't maximized YouTube like I should, but there will be. Next time I'm on here, I'll have a YouTube channel to share with you.
Well, we will also probably talk to you soon regarding Yizer, maybe coming on Yizer TV as well. So I would definitely get with Dwayne and talk to you about that.
I'm open to all possibilities. I am a businessman. Also, I'm an insurance agent as well, but I'm also a businessman. Yes. And by the way, for those tuning in, it'll be on NFHSnetwork.com. I'm about to broadcast the state football championships here in the state of South Carolina, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The Bash basketball tournament, I'm doing double duty. I'll be doing football by day and a national basketball tournament right here in the Midlands. Thebash.com. Go to thebash.com website. Dynamic Prep, Huntington Prep, IMG. Oak Hill Academy, all those schools will be right here, about 5 miles from where I'm sitting in Columbia. It's a big tournament, so I'll be doing football by day, basketball by night. Tune into all those broadcasts if you would, please, and thank you. That's my TV work as well as the radio stuff. So, yeah, thank you so much for letting me do that.
You are very, very welcome, and definitely, again, make sure you're liking, sharing, following Mr. Stacey Huff and all that he has to offer. He is also an insurance agent. We had a conversation last week's show regarding some insurance things, and I kind of gave some tips. And I know that I'll be coming, forward, even going forward, giving some more insurance tips. What do you think about, or how do you feel about the CEO situation where UHC CEO was recently just unalived?
A couple things. The first and most obvious thing is that can't be. We're at a time and the temperature's been set on sizzle and about, when you got a person who's running to be the leader of your nation, who the anger is driving everything. Not blaming this on that, not saying it, but there's been a climate of anger, hatred, divisiveness, and if I don't like it, then it must be moved instead of having discourse. So a couple things on that. We can't have that. That's violence is not the way. The gun situation is out of hand in this country. We know we're a wild, wild west country, And when you leave your home, you need to have your head on a pivot, on a swivel, everyone. And that's a sad, losing a young man,
Yes.
the president of the head of United Healthcare. That was shocking. And I'll say this, and I'll pass it back to you. But it doesn't all add up to me. So everything's not adding up the way it came. That's not. I trust very little of what I see, and it's not adding up. It's got to be more to the story. We may never know.
I agree 120%. Even being an agency owner, and I won't name the parent company right now of whom I am working with, but there's definitely some changes going on even in that organization. And I think come the first of the year, it's going to be some major mergers and or buyouts. I think that has a lot to do with it. And I am just really, really sad that it's resulting to the level of violence that it is.
Yes.
It's just unfortunate. This man had a family, and but it's all about, at the end of the day, that green thing that people love to spend.
People worship it, and when they worship it, they'll kill for it. Over it.
Yeah.
And we should have our healthcare system. We know. I mean, look at Canada. There's no reason we can't have a little more. It shouldn't be as expensive as it is to have basic healthcare and just common ability to commonly be treated and seen and have your health updated. There's no reason. Only reason we're in the situation we're in is because of greed. Not enough to murder over, but it shouldn't be the way it is.
And even in, I'm sure you probably have some of these too there, in our neighborhood clinics. Just looking at the disparity of healthcare level that they get versus going to your major organizations is just.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And again, if at the core of everything is going to be greed, and I don't know how it's so deeply entrenched in our country and our culture and in our government and everything. How do you cut that out? I don't know how you root that out.
Right. For sure.
We might be too far gone.
Definitely. All I'll say is that, I will continue in the insurance industry because I love to be able to help people.
Yes, it's very fulfilling.
I have a passion for people, and to be in the insurance industry, you definitely have to have a passion for people.
Absolutely.
You encounter some things that, are different for sure. I won't go too much more into that. Okay, let's talk about Mr. Bill Belichick. What do you think about what's going on with him?
I'm glad you asked that. I have strong opinions on that, like I do about most things. I'm a strong, opinionated person. So I've grown to be a Bill Belichick fan over the years, like a lot of us has, begrudgingly. But I'm old enough, and I am a historian, to remember when he was a bad coach at Cleveland. I remember way before the Patriots. He was an 8-8, 500 coach. And I remember when Bill Parcells set him up to take over the Jets, and he for one day we thought he was the coach of the Jets, and he walked to the podium and like, I do not accept this job. And he bounced on him. You know why? Because they were a putrid team. They were bad. So every coach likes talent. So he gets to the Patriots, and they didn't have as much talent as they eventually had, but they were a better fit. And you never know. He did what he did. So all that, just the background. So now how I feel about him taking a job at the University of North Carolina, that's what you're alluding to. And I'm a Tar Heel basketball fan. I grew up in the Carolinas. I was a Jordan fan since his freshman year. I'm a Gamecock by going to school, but so I have feelings for North Carolina, not necessarily football, but I get it. I dig them. Here's why I think this is a horrible idea. Not bad, horrible idea. Horrible. Capital H, italicized, underline, exclamation point. Bill Belichick is a man of a certain age, 70 or so. Right. He was a man with the Patriots who ruled a bunch of grown millionaires with an iron fist, which ain't easy to do. He commanded that, every outside of them. He commanded to be on time. The Patriot way was 15 minutes early. You do everything extra reps. You come in early. You stay late. You don't do extra talking. You keep your head down and you grind. He controlled that environment. He controlled the temperature and climate. I talk about that a lot. He controlled all that around the Patriots. For him to go to now in this NIL world where very shortly a 19-year-old is going to come to Bill Belichick at 70 years old and say, hey, dog, I need $1 million, Playboy. What you going to do? How do you think Bill Belichick's going to handle that conversation? After everything I just told you, how do you think that's going to work?
Oh, it's if I could be a fly on the wall. That's all I can say about that one.
And that's really, listen, I deal with high school kids all the time. I do a lot with recruiting in the area. I talk to the parent. That exact phrase is going to be said to him at some point. Literally, hey dog, hey my guy, hey bro. They like, kids like to call everybody brother.
Right.
Sir, bro. Where's my cheese, bro? They want me over here. What you gonna put on the table? And he has been. This man kept. I'm not saying control, but this man had Randy Moss under his discipline.
Right.
Tom Brady. Right. Junior Seau came over late in his career, may rest in peace.
Yes.
All kind of a 19-year-old coming at him like that. He's gonna get tired of that real quick.
The 19-year-old, that probably would be the pillar that would end his career. Honestly, I just believe that.
Didn't Nick Saban just walk away because of this?
Right.
And Nick Saban was a guy who it was a college guy and said, you know what, I see where this is heading. I don't want any. Right. And he said that a guy coming from the pros, and I say down because of the age and everything, coming down to this level.
Right.
And then in pros, you don't have to say, did you go to class? Now you got to check grades, transcripts, eligibility.
Definitely a level of accountability that's not in the pro league for sure.
Now, here's one theory that's out there that Belichick is having some. There's been some, and I don't. I'm admitting this is a rumor, but there's some swirling stories that he's got some sign off or some understanding that his son may be his predecessor. I mean his successor. So if he's doing this and gonna do it for a couple of years and grit his teeth, they put up with it just so his son can be the head coach in North Carolina. I get the mafia move on that. I get the chess, not checkers move. I don't think he makes it 2 years before he says, you know what? I ain't kissing no 19-year-old booty. Not gonna do it. I don't know.
I give it a year. I mean, at most, I would probably give it a year.
A year. That's what I'm saying. The first year is gonna be a challenge. If he gets to the first year and he ain't choked nobody, or nobody tried to choke him, if ain't nobody called him one of them things, or he ain't called nobody something, or then if he gets to the first year, then I'll revisit this. Listen, I'm a person. I got a wife. I'm not married to my opinions. My opinions can change. So I'm not married to my opinions. If I get new data, I would change my mind. I don't think I'm going to get new data. I think the data I'm bringing I think it's going to work out just like I'm thinking it's going to work out.
And I'm so glad that this is on social media, so to speak, because we'll be able to come back and say, we kind of said that.
Yeah. If he pulls it off, I mean, hey, let's go. Let's do it. I'll say, you know what? My guy did it. But this college game ain't for nobody. I mean, listen, I know a lot of young guys who don't want to coach college right now.
Right.
The money's good, but the headache, the parents. Now you got Uncle Boo Boo and Uncle Francis and Uncle John over here who is also saying, hey, what's the.
And why aren't you playing my son, nephew, whoever?
Right. But because in pros, when you say you complain to Belichick in the pros, he can cut you. He can stop your money. Exactly. Now they got other schools while the kids are playing. Here's what's going on. A lot of people don't know this. Let's say I recruit you to play for my school and you don't come to me. You go play for another school, right? Do you think I'm going to stop calling you? I'm still recruiting you while you're there. So every time you have a bad game, I'm on TV. You get in the locker room, check your phone. Hey, bro, they didn't throw you the ball enough. You should have came here. You still can if you want. You still can if you want to.
Yeah, come on up. Come on up.
I don't think Belichick's going to love that.
I don't think he will either. Okay. It's definitely a more competitive market. That's the way to put it.
It's Wild Wild West. Yeah.
That part too.
It is.
That part for sure. Man. Okay. So we've talked about some of the goings on. What do you think the impact of our new president-elect will be on sports? Do you think that he will put new tariffs or sanctions on the sporting events?
It's interesting you mentioned that too, because I've been kind of playing with this idea in my head, but I don't know if you know this or not. I mean, I think people have seen it, but this has been a long-term thing. The NBA has been trying to go global since Jordan, Kobe, since Barcelona. Right. So they've been trying to go global. I can't see how it can affect it. The NFL it plays what 4 or 5 games a year in London.
Right.
They play one in Germany and London. The Jacksonville Jaguars play basically half their home games in London this year.
Very true.
Yeah. So I don't see how this can't. I see a collision on some levels because I know that's not tariffs that's going over there, but the idea is supposed to be the quid pro quo. They want the money. You can't burn these bridges and have strain issues with people and hawk your product at the same time, right?
Exactly.
So we may be headed for. I think that'll be something to watch. And so many things allegedly is going to be cut out and done. And I'm hearing some. At some point they'll get to that. There's so many things will happen day one. I don't know. You can't do all that day one, but so much is going on. But eventually, it may be an issue.
And I'm thinking as far as you were saying, the reciprocal, as far as people coming here for games from London or from.
Well, that's right, and that's the whole reason for it. The whole reason for us putting the game over there. Eventually, the NFL wants to have a team over there.
Yeah, they want to have a team.
And if that team plays away games, you want them to come here, right? You want their fans to come.
Exactly.
That's how you multiply the money. The stadium's already full here with Americans. Clearly, you want more people.
Exactly.
And more TV. Everything goes back to TV, right?
Exactly, because the broadcast.
But you can't piss these people. But you can't piss these people off and say we don't want to do business with you. We don't like you. We don't really, we got a certain standards we raising, and then say, what I'm saying? It goes back to that same thing. So yeah, you want the people to come over. You want them to the marketing to get. Sooner or later, somebody over there is going to say, hey, you're selling your equipment and your jackets and your hats, and we want to sell. We got product. We want to make. How do we get into this too? Right? Exactly. It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
That's why I was kind of wondering. So I definitely
great question. Great question.
There's going to be some things that definitely will be interesting to watch in the next 4 years.
Absolutely. It's going to touch sports. I can't get sports. Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of things going on, and sports won't be excluded, I don't think. Right.
There you go. Well, Stacey, please mention how people can get in contact with you if they are interested in sponsoring one of your shows.
Right. So I'll give my email address out. Please somebody write this email address down. It is that Huffster again, HUFF, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, ER, 1906, HUFFSTER 1906. Yes, I am a member of the Black and Gold, at yahoo.com. So Huffster 1906 at yahoo.com. Email me any requests. I can send you out a rate sheet. I can send you out a way to put a package together, and we can do. And I also do another internet show as well. I do a lot of different broadcast, different platforms. But definitely, I want them to sponsor my part of the Diva. I want to be a part. When I come on RenaeThaDiva, I want us to show some love to me and Renee when I come on, and I'm gonna bring this sports knowledge, and we'll make it a regular thing. But hit me on that email address, and I'd love to converse with you and start the conversation. Send you any information you need on how to make it worth our time together to grow, and let me put my name behind what you do. On my radio show here in Columbia, I have 15 sponsors. I'm always looking for more there. And of course, I want this done, but I believe in growing businesses, especially businesses who keep the money circulating the way it should. I want to uplift and push that forward. Always going to do that. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to get that email address out.
For sure. If you have been watching, or if you're just joining, this is Let's Talk About It, a weekly podcast with myself, host RenaeThaDiva. We do have with us Mr. Stacey Huff of Huff Nation Sports. And we have been talking about some of everything, including sports going on in the NFL, NBA, WNBA, and the MLB. Have I touched everything we kind of talked about in a nutshell?
Pretty much. We got a lot of it covered. I did. I don't know if I mentioned when I said the NBA, because I just said your Pacers could be doing a little better. I know they want to do a little more, but shout out to Cleveland. I gotta give Cleveland some love. Cleveland's
been balling. They've been balling.
Yeah, and I didn't. I thought they got off to a really hot start. They were the last team to lose a game. That team has that thing called chemistry. Now, can they carry a long NBA season? We'll see. The Milwaukee Bucks have gotten hot here lately. Teams are kind of, they have the ebbs and flows, but Cleveland has been very, very important. Memphis is starting to get healthy. They're coming along on the back. So OKC is out there, but Cleveland has been the team to watch right now. So I did want to give them a shout out while I was talking about the NBA.
Now, let me ask you this: what do you think about the implementation of these off-season games, playoffs that they've been trying to do.
The in-season tournament they call it.
Right.
I didn't like it at first, but now I get why. The NBA has a problem, and they've addressed it in some ways. They haven't just come out and screamed it like I've been screaming this for years. But they're going to kill the golden goose. Too many high-value players sit out games, and who can tell them what to do? Because again, they have that strong players. I talked about that. They have a strong players. That's why a lot of bum players are getting way paid. So that being said, to directly answer your question, the end season gives them a little, fans have a reason to kind of root it for you. Even if your team is having a tough season, they can win win a certain games within that end season thing. You can get a trophy like the Lakers did last year. Didn't mean anything in the big picture, but they have that trophy. And it's some of the players, because they get a little money, they pay them for that. When you win that end season tournament, you do get a little extra check.
You do.
So that gets a couple of these guys who are, always in a suit or tend to, play a game and take a game off. That gets them out there a little bit. So since last year, I like it better now. I'm understanding that. Again, I tell you, I look away from the court now. I'm thinking about the business side. I get what they're trying to do. We'll see how it works out. You're waving at people, so you can see names and I can't see them.
I am.
Tell everybody I say hello. Tell everybody I say hello.
Stacey say hello, and he will reply to any comments also after this broadcast is over for sure. So if you do have any questions, make sure you say hi to you put them in the chat there, and we'll be more than happy to respond. So we are on all social medias. Of course, the StreamYard goes to both the YouTube channels and Facebook. I am also on a device where I'm live on TikTok, and people are saying hi over there too.
And I'm on TikTok too, Huffster06, I think, HUFFSTER06, I think. I just got on TikTok like recently, so I don't have a lot of followers there. I got 4,400 on Twitter and 5,000 on Facebook. So hit me up on those things as well. But I just got on TikTok.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the like shares. Please make sure you go out and subscribe to all the social medias as well. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channels for sure. Again, making sure that we are increasing our viewership and our reach. We do go on to Yizer TV or YizerMedia.com, which is under code 1035.com as of January 1st, with a show called Vision Quest. So we definitely will be on TV. Stacey's also on TV and radio. And again, mention that information, Stacey, please.
Yes, my radio show is Huff Nation Sports Zone. It's a national audience here, so it's on MakeThePointRadio.com. There it is crawling across your screen right there. My email is Huffster1906@yahoo.com. MakeThePointRadio.com every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I was wrong. My TikTok is Huff Nation at Huff Nation, HOUGHNATION at Huff Nation on TikTok. Please follow me. I need to build up following up, but thank you so much for letting me plug what I do, Renee. I really appreciate that.
Yes, no problem. Thank you again for coming on. I know you have a super, super busy schedule. I appreciate you, Stacey, and definitely will be talking again in the future.
Absolutely.
Have a great evening, and hopefully your daughter gets done with her studies. I know how that is. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just be great and being knowledgeable and being a representative for the community in a positive way.
All the time, baby.
Appreciate you that way for sure.
You too.
So,
you too. Same to you.
If you are just joining, we will go ahead and wrap it up. But this is Let's Talk About It, a weekly podcast with host myself, RenaeThaDiva. We have had on with us tonight Mr. Stacey Huff of Huff Sports Nation. I always get that.
Huff Nation Sports. Huff Nation Sports.
There we go. I get it backwards. So Huff Nation Sports, his information is streaming across there. Make sure you are going out and supporting. If you're interested in listening to the shows, sponsoring one of his shows, make sure you definitely hit him up. And we look forward to having you on again soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Well, goodbye, everybody. I will see you on next week. We will have another special guest. Bye-bye for now.